The transport bay trembled as another explosion rocked the station's outer hull. Private Calith pressed his back against the bulkhead, his blue-tinted skin shifting through 3 shades of panic purple. The young Venari had been in the Galactic Defense Force for exactly 8 cycles, and this was his first combat deployment. Beside him stood Corporal Jack Morrison, methodically checking his rifle's power cell with the casual ease of someone inspecting groceries. The human whistled a tuneless melody between his teeth. "Is this your first fight?" Calith asked, his translator implant struggling with the quaver in his voice. Jack looked up, one eyebrow raised. A slow grin spread across his face. "First today." The words hung in the recycled air for a moment, before another blast sent debris rattling down the corridor. Calith's primary eyes widened, while his secondary pair remained fixed on the sealed blast door ahead. "First today?" The recruit's voice climbed an octave. "What does that mean?" Jack slapped a fresh magazine into place and chambered around. "Means we had contact during morning patrol. Took out a boarding party trying to breach Sector 7. Then there was that little scuffle in the mess hall when some pirates thought they could take hostages." He shrugged. "This'll be number 3. Calith's skin flickered through confusion yellow. "You've already fought twice today? And you're so calm?" "Calm is how you stay breathing, kid." Jack moved to the door controls, fingers dancing over the emergency override panel. "Panic gets you killed. Fear is fine, but panic makes you stupid." The blast door groaned as hydraulics engaged. Beyond it, the corridor stretched into smoke-filled darkness. Emergency lighting cast everything in crimson shadows. "Here's how this works," Jack continued, his voice dropping to a teaching tone despite the chaos. "They're Krovan raiders. 4 arms, lots of teeth, mean as hell. They'll try to rush you. Use their numbers. Don't let them get close." "The briefing said Krovan are superior fighters," Calith whispered. "Faster reflexes, better natural armor, more limbs for weapon handling." Jack snorted. "Briefings say a lot of things. Reality says something different. Yeah, they're tough, but they expect you to freeze. They expect you to break. That's their whole strategy. Overwhelming aggression to make prey animals run." His grin returned, harder this time. "We're not prey." The door slid open with a hiss. Immediately, plasma fire erupted from the darkness. Jack moved before Calith could process, diving right and returning fire in one smooth motion. The humans' shots were precise, economical. 3 bursts, 3 hits. Krovan screams echoed through the corridor. "Move up, stay left." Jack barked. Calith forced his legs to work, stumbling forward into cover behind a collapsed support beam. His hands shook as he aimed his rifle into the smoke. Shapes moved in the haze, big shapes with too many limbs. A Krovan burst from the darkness, all 4 arms wielding blades that glowed with thermal edges. Calith froze. The raider's mandibles spread wide in a war shriek. Jack's rifle spoke twice. The Krovan crashed down 3 meters from Calith's position. "Breathe," the human called out. "Pick your targets, fire." Something clicked in Calith's mind. He found the trigger, squeezed. His first shot went wide. The second caught a Krovan in the shoulder. The third hit center mass. The raider went down. "There you go." Jack's voice carried actual pride. "Keep moving." They advanced through the corridor, a strange dance of covering fire and tactical repositioning. Jack moved like water, flowing from cover to cover, never where the enemy expected. Calith tried to mimic the pattern, his initial terror crystallizing into something sharper, more focused. A pack of 6 Krovan attempted to flank them through a maintenance tunnel. Jack produced a thermal charge from his belt, armed it with a casual flick, and tossed it through the opening. The explosion sealed the tunnel and eliminated the threat in one move. "You keep those just ready?" Caliph shouted over the ringing in his ears. "Kid, I keep everything ready." Jack ejected a spent magazine, loaded a fresh one without looking. The galaxy's a dangerous place. Humans learned that the hard way. They reached an intersection where the fighting intensified. A full squad of Krovan had dug in, using debris as cover while they poured fire down 2 corridors. Jack assessed the situation in seconds. "Suppressing fire on my mark," he said. "I'm going left. Count to 5, then hit them from here." "That's crazy," Caliph protested. "They'll cut you down." Jack's grin turned wolfish. "They can try." The human was gone before Caliph could argue further, sprinting across open ground while plasma bolts chased his shadow. Caliph counted, then opened fire. His shots forced the Krovan to take cover. Jack hit them from the flank like a hammer. His rifle sang a staccato rhythm. Krovan went down, their superior reflexes meaningless against the human's combination of speed, accuracy, and complete disregard for his own safety. Within 30 seconds, the position was neutralized. "How are you not dead?" Caliph demanded when they regrouped. "Practice," Jack replied, checking his ammunition. "Lots and lots of practice." They pushed deeper into the station. More Krovan fell back before them. Caliph realized with growing amazement that the raiders were retreating, not from superior numbers, but from one human and his terrified partner. "They're afraid of you," he said. Jack reloaded again. "They're afraid of what I represent. Humans don't quit. That's our thing. We're not the fastest or the strongest. Our reflexes are average. Our natural weapons are pathetic. But we don't stop. Ever. The Krovan have been raiding the soft targets of the galaxy for centuries. They finally met a species that hits back harder. They reached the command center where the station's crew had barricaded themselves. The door was scarred with weapon impacts, but holding. A dozen Krovan surrounded it, preparing breaching charges. 12 targets, Caliph breathed. Manageable. Jack pulled out his last thermal charge and another device Caliph didn't recognize. "You take the ones on the right when things get loud. Don't think, just shoot. What are you going to do?" "Something stupid that'll probably work." Jack activated both devices and threw them in opposite directions. The Krovan turned toward the sounds. The thermal charge detonated on the left, while the second device, a sonic disruptor, screamed on the right. In the chaos, Jack charged straight up the middle. Caliph didn't think. He fired. His shots caught 3 Krovan, who were still reeling from the sonic attack. Jack's rifle hammered at point-blank range, dropping targets with mechanical efficiency. In less than 10 seconds, it was over. The command center door opened. Station personnel stared at the carnage, then at the human calmly reloading his weapon. "Sector's clear," Jack reported. "Recommend full security sweep and medical teams for casualties." The station commander, a Venari elder with silver-tinted skin, stepped forward. "You held them off alone?" "Had help." Jack nodded toward Caliph. "Kid's got potential." Caliph's skin flushed with surprised pride. As they waited for reinforcements. The young recruit couldn't contain his questions. "How many fights have you been in, really?" Jack settled against a wall, finally allowing exhaustion to show. "Lost count around year 3. Humans have been fighting since before we left our homeworld. We fought predators, we fought each other, we fought nature itself. When we reached the stars, we just found new things to fight. Doesn't it ever bother you? The danger, the death?" The human's expression grew distant. "Every time. But here's what we learned about ourselves. We're terrified of the dark, but we explore it anyway. We're fragile compared to most species, but we throw ourselves into battle. We know we're going to die someday, but we live like we're immortal. That contradiction, that refusal to let fear make our decisions, that's what makes us human." Caliph processed this. And that's why the Krovan run from you? They run because they finally met prey that became predators. The galaxy spent millions of years producing species that evolved in their niches. Humans came from a death world where everything wanted to kill us, so we learned to kill back. We turned fear into fuel and survival into an art form. Security teams arrived, securing the sector. Medical personnel tended to minor wounds. The crisis was ending, but Calith knew he would never forget this day. As they prepared to return to barracks, he asked one final question. Will there be a fourth fight today? Jack checked his weapon one more time, smiled that dangerous smile. Kid, on a human ship, there's always a chance. That's why we stay ready. Then teach me, Calith said. Teach me to be ready like you. The human clapped him on the shoulder, a gesture of respect. You already started learning. You didn't run, you didn't break. You fought. That's the first and hardest lesson. They walked through the secured corridors, past the evidence of the day's battles. Calith's skin had finally settled on a steady blue, the color of calm determination. Somewhere in the station's depths, alarms began to sound again. Jack sighed, checked his ammunition, and started jogging toward the sound. Over his shoulder, he called back, Looks like number 4 came early. You coming? Calith didn't hesitate. His rifle came up, his fear transformed into something else entirely. He followed the human into the darkness, ready for whatever came next. Behind them, the station commander watched them go and made a note in his report. The Galactic Defense Force needed more humans, and perhaps more importantly, they needed more soldiers who learned to fight like them. The galaxy was learning a new truth. Humans weren't the strongest,